When it comes to Christmas films, some of my favorites involve toys and children. I feel like that really epitomizes the nostalgic aspect of Christmas that takes us back to our childhoods. And Jingle All the Way is definitely one of those films. I adore this film and I can completely understand why it's exceptionally popular. Unusually, it only has a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, which I thought was quite shocking, as I don't know anybody who has a bad word to say about this film. I truly love it. So there won't be any spoilers in this, so if you haven't seen it, you are completely free to listen to me rambling on about this. If you just want to know whether or not it's worth watching, it completely is. It's great fun, it's quite funny, it's very Christmas, and if you like kind of the more family friendly Christmas films, this is definitely one to go for. So the film was released in 1996. I was 4 years old. I only saw it for the first time maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Well worth the wait. It's directed by Brian Levant and written by Randy Kornfield, and of course stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as Howard. And the description from IMDb is pretty accurate. It is as follows. A father vows to get his son a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out of them and he must travel all over town and compete with everybody else in order to find one. So that sounds pretty basic. There are a lot of Christmas films where there's a popular toy that everybody wants and the parents are in some kind of war to get it. Unfortunately, it's a very realistic situation. Perhaps not so much nowadays with online ordering and things. That's more just about pre-ordering and getting the last of them, but certainly in the 90s, early noughties, films where there was a big rush into a department store, very popular. Turbo Man being an action figure, there are a lot of fun merchandising scenes in this that I really enjoyed. It's not as cliche as it sounds. What I particularly like about this, and I don't know how much I can say without giving any spoilers, but Howard gets himself into some very peculiar situations when he's trying to find this toy. So, on the one hand, it's a very heartfelt story about a father who really wants to get his child exactly what he's asked Santa for Christmas. You could also argue that's very consumerist and loses the true meaning of Christmas because it's not about toys. But the fact that his father is willing to go to such extreme lengths, and at times they are extreme, it makes it completely worth it and kind of gets rid of the whole consumerism aspect. And this is coming from me as a minimalist. It does take a very, I'm going to say, action-packed turn, and not the turn that I would have expected. And I don't think that I have personally seen a Christmas film like this that goes to such extremes to get what it wants. And that's both in terms of Howard getting what he wants and the film delivering a very fun, action-packed, often comedic, family-friendly, enjoyable narrative. I have zero complaints about Jingle All the Way. I haven't seen it in a little while. I think I probably watched it last year. I'm about to watch it again soon. I find the soundtrack not that memorable, but at the same time, I don't watch it for the soundtrack. But I do love Christmas film soundtracks. As I said, one of the highlights for me is this Turbo Man and the merchandising opportunities and the way everything just looks on screen. It's beautiful to watch. It's lovely to watch the narrative unfold. Howard is a very likable character most of the time. The situations he finds himself in are not exactly always predictable. The film will keep you on your toes. It does have a very strong Christmas vibe. I'd say 90% of the time it does. And it's very surprising. It's not predictable. It's a nice narrative, a very nice narrative. Martin Mull is in it, always a benefit. Schwarzenegger's performance is obviously fantastic. I have zero complaints about this, and I still don't know why it's only got 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. That seems very low, considering it's not a film I've heard anybody say anything about. I love it. If you haven't seen it, maybe make it the next Christmas film you watch. It is brilliant.